how to create safeguards to keeping your self-esteem full and in charge. What's up, everybody? Back with Michael here, and I'm going to show you how to get rich without money by finding internal wealth and happiness. Here we go. This video is about when our self-esteem is relatively full and high, how do we make sure we don't have those peaks and valleys that we can get in life? The ultra highs sometimes bring ultra lows, and sometimes we can feel in life like we're going like this. But how do we ride the wave, always maintaining a very positive sense of self, a positive outlook on life, and we always feel ready for, if a challenge does come our way, we feel like we're going to be able to handle it with as most ease and grace that we can, right? So let's refresh what the things are in front of us. So this jar, this is you watching the movie. This is me. This is who the concept is being based around. Okay. Now this emptier jar, this is the people in our life. There's a lot of fear in the world. There's a lot of confusion in the world. There's a lot of mostly empty jars in the world, okay? It's kind of sad to say, but it's just the reality of it. It's not saying that they're any better or worse than ours, but there's a lot of people that are seeking, okay? And they're seeking for water. And like I said in the previous video, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to leave the link down in the comment section below, so please check that out. So, this person is seeking water. Low self-esteem, low self-worth. The water is low in their vessel, and they are seeking other people's water to continue to come and fill this glass. And sometimes this person has learned to keep their glass full, but they don't really know what to do. Now that it's full, they don't really know what to do, because the world says we got to constantly be giving, and we have the religious dogma in our head that's give, all the way down to where our last drop, give it away. Okay, so our jar is full, our self-esteem is high, we've done some work on ourselves, we've given us some time in life to recharge. How do we keep it full? Well, we have to get a really good look at ourselves and our current reality. How many kids do we have? How much work am I working? How do I feel? How much stress is in my life? What's my family relationships like? What's my personal relationship life like? So, the key to keeping a strong, healthy self-esteem and self-worth is to create the foundation of your life strong. What is the foundation of your life? Well, first it's you, your health, and your home. The second is the closest reality to you. Well, it could be a significant other, it could even be an animal. If you don't have a significant other, then it's maybe some family members or a close friend or even some coworkers, right? The second layer outside of yourself is the person or the close group of people you spend the most time with, whoever that is. For me, it's my partner. All right, I live with her. She's my wife. She's everywhere. So she is the second closest reality to me. Outside of myself, my next layer of foundation is her. So what am I saying, Mike? What the heck does that mean? Well, you must be in alignment and coherence with these relationships that are in your life, in the closest realities to you. So, the first thing to focus on is yourself, to fill your glass up. Glass is full. Good. Let's keep it that way. What can we do to create a strong foundation in our life? We create a system. A system. We create a morning discipline. We create a routine. We create safe balances in our life and safeguards in our life. That way, when something starts to go off, we immediately know that something is starting to deteriorate within us that we need to give attention to, because we have these safeguards. For me, personally, I wake up and I immediately spend like a couple minutes with my dogs. I just sit with them, I pet them, I look at them, I feel them breathe. I get so much joy out of it. I giggle and I laugh and I literally feel like I'm a billionaire of how happy I am that I wake up to my 2 dogs, just then they can't wait to see me in the morning. And my wife is there in the morning for most mornings, and my mornings are great because the 2 things that make me the happiest is my wife and my dogs, and I make sure that I connect with it on that happiness level. Nothing else exists in my reality at that given moment. It is just my dogs and my wife. The second thing I do is I go into a meditation that I've created for myself. And I think it's very important to create our own meditations, which I'm going to be putting out some work on how to create our own meditations. So I do my connections, I do my meditations, I center myself, I call in what I want for the day, I do some reading, and I'm a yoga practitioner and I do some yoga. So these are my systems that I've created, along with the deeper reasoning behind it is I'm like in an internal plane within my mind, and throughout the wave of the day, I can gauge how I'm doing in my mind because I have these things in my day that reflect back onto me myself. So, what can you do to create a system in your morning is extremely important to start the day in a good mood and happy, and to reflect upon what you are thankful for. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrational energies you can call into yourself, and it will help you attract some very, very good blessings into your life. But first, we have to see what's truly in front of us. So, once our cup is full, we create a system, a strong foundation for our life that allows us to have safeguards and safe checks in our life. And if you don't know anything, you're like, oh, Mike, I'm new at this. I don't know what's going on. I feel good. I feel the world around me kind of being crazy. People are needy, but I don't really have anything. Well, it's time to pick up a book. It's time to study, and it's time to get your butt moving into something that brings you into alignment. And what do I mean by that? There's a lot of things out there. You got to find what works for you. For me, yoga and a particular type of exercise that I do that involves movement of the body and breathing and just overall awareness, that is what I'm into. And then I have a mental thing that I put myself through in my meditation in the morning, and I read certain books that take me deep into the psychology and philosophy of life that go beyond the most surface level way of thinking, and that takes me deep. And the way that I eat, the way that I live my life, the way that I move, the way that I think, it's all for a reason. This is to safeguard my glass, so I can be a full glass for everybody that I meet. I work with people. This is what I do, and it can be very draining sometimes. I have a retreat this weekend. I have 15 to 20 people coming. So I have to make sure my glass is full to be of service to the greatest of my ability. When I meet these people and I talk to them and we go through our process and whatever may come, I am there as a full glass. Now, after the weekend comes, I take some time up out of the world to make sure my glass is tip-top. Boom. Okay? So, once again, my safeguards are in place. Let's get to the second step, is taking care of the second reality, the second layer of people in your reality. Okay? I call it the second people in my reality, but also the other realities closest to me. So my wife, she is not, my reality is my reality, hers is hers. We don't see like perfect alignment on everything because we're two different minds, two different souls, right? But we really have met in the middle to create a divine partnership that the most important thing is to keep our own glasses full. So when this happens, my second most important thing is to make sure her glass is full. So I am the full glass for her to lean on. Now, this is an empty glass. That's other people. So just imagine this glass is full and this is her. When her glass is full, it's important to me because when my glass becomes empty, it's a reflection upon me how I handle her full glass. It's a reflection to me. When her glass starts to get empty, then it's a reflection for her. And it allows us to stay high. We can use relationships as a mirror, as a tool of keeping ourselves in a very, very high place. It takes time and it takes a little bit of practice to look at a relationship like this as compared to the past, which is, that's a whole other thing, and I might make some videos about that. But I have learned, and we both have learned, to use our relationship as a tool of ascension, growth, and overall awakening. And it's been a beautiful thing once we got through a lot of our shit. And there was a lot of shit there. Trust me. It wasn't pretty for a few years. But once we're in our shit, we climb out of our shit. We can look at our shit from a higher place. It's not shit anymore. We turned it and transmuted it into a lot more beautiful stuff. So, now, this is no longer other people. This is the closest people in your life. Your wife, your kids, your animals, your co-workers. Okay? If there is shit in between you, in between whoever it is, you want to know how you get the highest self-esteem, self-worth, is to clear that shit that is stopping you, the closest people between you, to having a full cup. It is a mutual thing. You may not realize it, but they are feeling the same emptiness you are if they are very close to you. Fill each other's cups up. It doesn't matter what it is, what conversation has to happen, what has to happen. Work it out. It's your life. It's important. This life is a blessing, and I want to see you look at it like I do, which is beautiful. Okay? So when you combine forces and create the closest person to you to make it a rock star ascension, just like, let's get this shit, fill our glasses up, hoorah, rock on, a lot of good things will happen. Then you two are each other's safeguards, or the guy at work, right, that you spend so much time with, that you have some issues with, that you don't get along with. You come home and you're stressed out because you're with this girl or guy like 6, 7, 8 hours a day. His life's miserable. Guess what? When we learn to put ourselves aside and say, okay, I need this person's cup to be full, you help that person fill their cup up. I'm not saying you have to do everything for them. So this is that person. Okay? You just help them with a little bit of momentum. You break the walls down just a little bit. Just a little bit. Could be a family member. You come in there and you have a conversation that you really need to have that is a little awkward because of who it is, or it doesn't matter. Okay? Have the conversation, and slowly, the momentum in life, you start to fill these cups up together. It's just what starts to happen. It's a magical thing. Once you have your cup full and safeguarded, you are going to be looking at life from a full cup perspective. You are going to be able to be there for whoever it is that you love, but not from an empty cup, but from a full cup. Because a lot of times we can love everyone else to the world and back, but our cup is empty. So you're giving them an empty love. You want to love someone, you truly want to love someone with everything that you have in your life and in your heart, you got to fill your cup up. Because that energy reciprocation is going to be so much more powerful. You know, I kind of had this conversation with a family member, and I was brought up in the Christian world, and so everything is a lot of times related to Jesus. And you know, there's so much truth and so much to be learned in all that. But I look at it from a much different perspective than what was shown to me now. So anyway, the Jesus was brought up to me. And they're like, well, Jesus, all he did was help people. Right. But first of all, Jesus' cup, not only was it full, but it was constantly overflowing. At all times, it was just running over, spilling into everyone and everything. So we have to understand who and what we are and what we're capable of dealing with. So when people bring stuff up like that to me, we have to look at it from what it really is. If you were a full cup overflowing from the river of life, you could go out into the world and never be empty. And we all have the opportunity to do that, and that's the most like graceful part of everything. It's a realization. So I encourage all of you not only to keep your glasses full, but to take care of those that are closest to you. Not because it will help you, it will help your life, but also it will help you keep your own glass full. So it's a reciprocation. It's like a I scratch your back, you scratch mine. It's a dynamic that can be created. So you can ascend and really learn what you need to learn and see what you need to see and live this life with purpose fulfillment. And when this is here, you're a happy person. This is happiness. This is like good stuff. There's a lot that will be attracted to you because you're in the receiving mode and you're full. And you're going to attract other full cups too. That's the coolest thing. Is when you're here, and you start to attract other full cups, and then other full cups start hanging out together. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, I just want to help people. Like, I just want to do what's good for the world. Not some like blind, not looking at myself, just looking at everybody else, seeing what you can do for everybody else, because that's a whole other dynamic in the world. I've heard it been called spiritual bypassing. I've heard a lot of different words for it, but it's really important to see ourselves for who and what we are. But you start to attract people that are kind of full and they don't want to take from you, and you guys are like, you kind of team up together, and you're like, hey man, like you know each other are always there, but like you really want to just help other people together, and you have deep conversations, and if you do need something, this person just, all they have to give you is a drop, and maybe if they need something, all you got to give them is a drop, or like a phone call or a conversation, or just so I encourage all of you to just think about this perspective, because it's kind of like it's really what I've learned in my life, and it's how I keep my glass full.